What are you doing?
I don't with the devil.
Jesus Christ, Allah. The slurp.
I thought you were gonna do it too. Hello and welcome to this video podcast. This is our very first episode. Woo! We are so excited. We've been working our asses off to get to this exact moment.
Yes.
Today we will talk about one specific horror story that actually not a lot of people have heard of. I heard about it a couple of years back from watching a TV show. It's all about the Irish most haunted building called Loftus Hall, which is also known for where the devil himself stayed for a few days.
I hadn't even heard about the story until you mentioned that you wanted to do a story here about it.
Not a lot of people have, and I find it kind of odd because the story about this exact building is insane.
I was shocked.
I can tell you a little bit about it before we get into the story.
Yes, thank you.
So basically, Loftus Hall is located in the Hook Peninsula in County Wexford, southeast of Ireland. Its original name Redmond Hall, and it was built back in 1300s. After the Cromwell's invasion of Ireland around the 1650s, the house got confiscated and given to the Loftus family, who then renamed it as today we know it as Loftus Hall. In the 1870s, the Marquis of Ely renovated the building after years of the whole building just decaying.
I won't say it looks very good now, so I don't know how much it helped.
I mean, after what happened there, I don't blame it.
Fair.
But later on, around the 80s, it was actually run as a hotel you could stay in, despite the story of what happened there.
Wasn't it also used as a nunnery?
Yeah, it was. So a bunch of nuns came over then and tried to bless the whole building. You can only guess once how that happened. Did that work?
No.
Probably not.
I don't think so. But what is the deal with this place? Why is it so haunted? Or like, what's happening there?
You know what I said about the devil himself was staying there? Yeah, so he took a tiny little visit back in the days around the 1700s. And of course, we all know the devil as being this beautiful creature. Like, that's kind of the deal about him. So he visited. He showed up at Loftus Hall, and the daughter of the Loftus family totally fell in love with this person, not even knowing who this person was. Only showing a few days later that this was actually the devil.
We're gonna talk about this story. First, we're gonna tell you all about it. We're gonna discuss a couple of things that's happened there. Theories, stories we've heard, things we've seen through research. It's a wild story. I am shocked, very, very shocked. I was not expecting this at all when this was the case she wanted to do, but I'm excited. I think you'll like it. Stay to the end of this video and you will have a chance to help us choose our next story.
It was the year 1765, and the Loftus family was enjoying their evening in front of the warm fireplace. The great hall echoed with the footsteps of the servants, peacefully and undisturbed, until that one fateful night. The wind was howling, a storm raged across the Hook Peninsula, whipping violently on the ice-cold brick walls of the Loftus Hall, as if something was trying to claw its way in. But there was something far more sinister than the storm that was brewing. A mysterious stranger is on its way. A lonely man appeared at the gates, drenched from the rain. The servant opened the door and looked at him. It was a good-looking, tall man. His coat was soaking wet, and the water dripping off of him like ink onto the stone steps. With a charming smile and soft voice, he said,
I am sorry to disturb you this evening. I was just wondering if I could stay here until the storm was over.
The servant looked at him, up and down, not sure what to say. Lord Charles Tottenham came to speak to the man. He had a bad feeling. "Where did you come from?" The man looked at him, never breaking eye contact.
I came with a ship.
He pointed out to the sea, and there it was. A huge ship in the storm with ripped sails. How did they not notice this huge ship coming out of nowhere? To sail that ship, you have to be at least 50 men. But why was he the only one at the door? Before Charles even got the time to ask him, the man spoke again.
I know this might seem odd, and I get that you're skeptical. I would too. But I mean no harm. I am really cold and tired, and it's not safe to stay at the boat. So if I could stay here just until the storm passes, I'd be forever grateful.
Charles hesitated, but he nodded and let the man in. He can ask him questions later. The storm showed no mercy, and God knows what happened with the other men on the boat.
Lady Anne, Charles's youngest daughter, was captivated by this man's beauty. His charm was undeniable. He was unlike any man she had ever met. As the days passed, the storm was still going strong outside, and Anne grew infatuated, and they started to grow a romantic relationship. The stranger was welcomed by the family. By the servants, they all had the same feeling that something was not right. The man never ate, never seemed to sleep, and the horses seemed scared and shied away from his presence. And the shadows seemed different. They grew longer, changed form as he passed the light, but no one else noticed. How could they not notice? But their job was to serve, not ask questions, so they let it be.
One evening, the storm still roaring outside, the family gathered for a game of cards. The man sat across from Anne, his fingers resting slightly on the table. The candle flames flickered as if recoiling off of him. Anne's hand trembled as she played, struggling to stay focused. Then, a card slipped out of her hands and onto the floor. As she bent down to retrieve it, her breath got stuck in her throat. Under the table, where the man's fine leather boots should have been, were now cloven hoofs. She screamed as loud as she could, shattering the night. The stranger, he leapt off to his feet, and the air in the room turned thick, and the stench of sulfur filled the whole building. The candles died out, turning the entire hall into darkness.
The servants burst into the room, but it was too late. The stranger had already vanished. He flew through the ceiling, leaving a giant hole where he left. Anne collapsed, shaking violently, her mind unraveling. Ever since that night, she never spoke again. Her once bright eyes became black and hollow, her delicate hands clutching things unseen. The family was so ashamed and fearful, so they decided to lock her away in her room, where she wasted away, whispering to the shadows until death finally claimed her. For how long, no one knows, but don't be surprised if it was for many years to decades. When she was found, she was reportedly sitting in the corner of the room. Her body was stiff and her fingers twisted, as if she had been clutching onto something. And the room remained untouched for years after her death, and the room itself is still said to have an eerie presence.
After her passing, the house grew colder. The servants refused to enter certain rooms, claiming they had heard a woman's soft cries at night. Furniture moving on its own, the air smelling of burning candles, even though no one were lit. And the hole in the ceiling could not be fixed. And there is still a hole in that roof to this day.
Years later, when the house was converted into a convent, the nuns attempted to exorcise the spirits within, but they too reported strange occurrences. Objects moving, door slamming, and the feeling of eyes following your every move in the dead of night. Their ritual made everything worse, and they would pay the price.
Some of the nuns are said to have fallen mysteriously ill, and others had terrifying visions. The most chilling tale is that multiple nuns were found dead under mysterious circumstances. Some say in their sleep. Others say they were found frozen in fear, their faces twisted in horror. Some have said to be pushed down the stairs, and there is now a cross on the ground where they were found. The remaining nuns, unable to withstand the supernatural torment, abandoned the hall, leaving it to darkness once more. Multiple paranormal investigators, even the most famous one, Ghost Adventures, have discovered horrifying things while investigating Loftus Hall. They say no one who enters is safe, and the building will always be the home of the dead. So, are you willing to book a night at Loftus Hall?
That's a ride.
That's a sick story, that is.
It's such an absurd and insane story. Like, The Conjuring ain't shit
Nope.
compared to this.
People think The Conjuring is bad. It is bad.
I'd rather stay in the Conjuring house than this place.
Yeah.
And that comes from me, from like loving to investigate this horror, this ghosts, buildings, everything like that. This is the one place that I actually would not want to stay in.
Same. But it would be cool to visit it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Visiting the devil. People just die. It's fine.
Nuns have died.
Nuns have died. A woman have died. People have been attacked. A lot. No, thank you. My luck is that I would die pretty quick. They will look at me like, she's easy.
But imagine, me, who's partially deaf, by the way, I wear hearing aids.
Did you hear something?
Nah.
No? What? Oh yeah, that sound. Yeah, heard it. Heard it.
All the time. And then with you, who's very overly sensitive.
Yeah. It would be entertaining. I'm
It
not
would be
gonna say
entertaining.
anything like that, but I would be this scared that. Okay, I wish someone would feel that fear, but I'm not gonna be. Some people might deserve it, but I don't think I do. I don't want to be that scared. I don't want to fear that much for my life.
She would probably be terrified. And I would just be there, just be chill, it's fine.
I tend to be this person like setting it all up, planning everything from start to finish, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And the second I'm there, it's like,
We would get to the driveway and she would be like, no, let's turn around. Nope, not doing this.
what if you guys go in and I sit in the car and I just make sure you guys are fine, and if something happens, I can drive. It's fine.
Yeah, the girl who doesn't have her license.
It doesn't mean I can't drive. I'm not allowed to drive. I can't drive. It just recommended that I shouldn't. It's a difference.
But you mentioned deaths
Death.
in the building? Because they did find a baby in the walls.
Oh, now you may be like, what death? Like, is this something I missed? The baby, yeah. The reason I didn't take it in the story is because like no one really knows who this baby is. We don't know who got this baby.
We know there was a baby. When they renovated the building, they found a baby, skeletal remains, like infant skeletal remains in the walls, like buried in the walls of the tapestry room where Anne was locked in. And there are a few, I'm not gonna say like many theories, but there are like two theories, main theories of who this baby was. One of the theories, we know from the story that Anne gets really infatuated with the devil, and they have a romantic relationship. So one of the theories is that the devil impregnated her and that the baby is his. But you can also see this from a more like, I don't know how to explain it, like more real.
More realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also it would be kind of more like a cover-up of the whole thing. But imagine if it was all fake. It was all made up. How it could be. I don't know how it could be with like the hole in the freaking ceiling.
That still is not fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what if she was abused by her father?
And the baby
Is her father's.
Holy crap.
That's not something you would want to come out, especially not at that time.
They were like a high profile family.
Yeah, they got the house.
Yeah.
Like they were just gifted this mansion.
So she got pregnant by her abusive dad, and no one could know about this. So when the baby was born,
They locked her in the room while she was pregnant. The baby was born, and the baby was buried in the wall of that same room.
okay, we don't know if this baby was born dead or if it died in the walls. But still, me as a mother, imagining it, being in that room, just hearing a baby cry for your...
Because Anne would hear it.
That would drive her insane. Like, I've heard the story about people can die of a broken heart. Like they're so broken that something in their heart actually bursts. What if?
What if?
You see, here we are, the ghost lover and the true crime just smacked together. But that is the most realistic part. Like,
that is the most
it's
like
believable.
realistic sense of the story, if you would say
Yeah.
it like that. But you never know. And I feel like if these remains were found in this day and age, we could have done testing. We could have figured out when these remains were from, like figuring out what was in the skeleton, what it would have like nourished from it, from like the mother, how old it was, what gender it was, how long it had been there. But the remains are probably destroyed.
Yeah, I have no idea where they are now. I'm guessing if they were found in the 1800s,
It's over 100 years ago.
They
would not
probably
have preserved
gone.
it. They
No,
would
I
not
don't-
have preserved
could
it
never
at all.
believe so. But like, okay, so that is the realistic part. But there are some things that have happened there that I also have not told in the story yet. The thing is, this is a new age. I will say maximum 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not that long. So as we told you, there is this ghost tours going
Yeah.
on where everyone could book. We could go. You could go if you have the nuts to. I don't. So at one of these ghost tours, they went into the tapestry room
Where the baby was found.
Where
and
the baby was
Anne
found.
was locked in for who knows how many years.
So the power went out in just that room
It was working fine in the rest of the building.
until they
And
came in.
you know that it was working fine because the camera in that room was still working.
So they have like these security cameras, like for obvious reasons, people might ruin stuff, and
Steal
people
stuff.
are probably want to steal stuff from there. So they have caught on camera this man just changing his whole it doesn't look like a human
And
anymore
it
standing there.
happens like seconds after. It's not even a minute after the lights go out.
You just see him switch. So before I tell you guys what happened, I'm just going to tell you this is pretty disturbing, and which is actually why we have chosen not to show you this video. If you want to show it, you can find it on Ghost Adventures. They have been visiting this place, and they actually show that exact video.
Yeah.
And the hair stands up everywhere. There is hair on your body. It's so horrifying.
It's not pleasant.
He lunges at this woman. I don't know if they know each other or not. He grabs her by the throat, lifts her, and smacks her down to the ground. And you just hear this blood-curdling scream from this woman, as if she's actually about to be murdered.
The rest of the people in this room, they don't understand what's happening. The only person
They
reacting
can't see
is
anything.
the guide.
No one sees anything. That's the thing.
There's suddenly another guide or security, something rushes through the room. That's when suddenly people sees what's happening, because that's the only light they
from
have.
the door opening. Yeah. And they just grab this man, and you see here his whole body shakes.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a human.
No.
It's like you can't even imagine how this video is until you actually see it.
And it takes them a couple of seconds to fight him off of her.
Yeah. It's absolutely horrifying, and this is a normal person walking in. And that's why my friends and I have decided to never ever step foot inside that building. I would love to see it, I just don't want to go inside. Magnificent, insanely beautiful castle, and it's so old and it hasn't changed. Even like the outside and the inside. Like, for example, the flooring, the light went off.
Again.
We have protection.
And crystals?
We have crystals. Actually, this was not planned. I was just like, I'm not f***ing with the devil. So I'm bringing everything that I've Googled is safe to use.
It's just out of power.
Yeah, by the spirits.
Oh, I have a fun fact. The house. Remember the floor?
The floor.
The floor.
Yeah.
There's a very beautiful like mosaic floor in like the room that's like before you get into the card room, where the ceiling is all holy.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah. First owners of the house, or like who built it, they got these two guys, I think, to make this floor. It's handmade, and when they finished this floor, the family was like, "Oh, this is so beautiful. You're never allowed to make anything again like this," and they chopped their hands off.
Copyright, you know, it's
The
That's
original copyright.
This is where it all originated from.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it worked, so they're happily resting in their grave, I guess. Depends who it is.
Yeah. But we could talk about fun facts, stories, things that have happened there, hauntings that have happened there.
I think if we're gonna cover everything, we're gonna need a part 2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Chatting, nothing like stories, just chatting about it.
And if you want us to make more of these episodes, then we need you to help us by clicking like, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel, and we will be forever grateful. And remember, tell us what you think happened. What are your theories about the baby, for example?
That would be fun to hear. What you guys think would happen. So
I'm a little 50-50.
honestly, after you said that, me too.
The true crime
That's more believable.
The true crime nerd in me wants to go the mental health route.
Yeah. And thank you so much everyone who's already subscribed, already shared our video, liked everything. It means the world to us. We cannot do this without you guys. And we really, really want to do this again with a completely new story. So we have picked up 2 more, 1 horror and 1 true crime.
Yes.
And again, just wait to the end, just a few more seconds. Then you can pick which story you want us to tell you next time in the next month.
And remember, keep slashing.
Bye!
Bye.
Make sure to send the chills down your spine. Wow, see what I did there? Through your ears on stage.
Excuse you. Ready to. Nei, ikke nå.
Dette er jo avslappende sett en spøkelseshistorie.